Mm-hmm. Just like that.
Hey friends, welcome to episode 3 of Align with Plants, where I help you learn how to align with plants. It's See Here 7 on the trail of Salt River with my girlfriend and fellow unschooling mama Delmara. We brought the children out to Salt River for an afternoon field trip to see wild horses on the river. Really a whole watery world over here. You never expect a river that looks this beautiful to be running through the middle of the Sonoran Desert, but here we are hanging out at Salt River. We brought the children out to come out and harvest some creosote, and we're going to make a creosote in tincture for you all today on the show. Really simple. There were reeds out there, guys, cottonwood trees as tall as, at the Pacific Northwest. These are trees that we never even seen in the desert. They only exist, we thought, where there's water. But obviously there is water in the Sonoran Desert. This is the wettest desert on the earth. The Sonoran Desert gets the winter rains as well as a summer monsoon season. So this desert is actually sitting on top of huge aquifers that store mass amounts of water for the region. There's also massive dams, and this is the third largest water reservoir in the Sonoran Desert is the Salt River. We hiked, we sat back and relaxed, and then it was time to get to wild harvesting. We did come out with a goal in mind, and that was to find the most powerful creosote bush and borrow some leaves from her to make a healing tincture. Creosote is one of the primary bushes of the Sonoran Desert, and actually in deserts all around the world. This is one of the most ancient plants on the earth, and is used in the desert for topical issues, any type of skin infection. It's a highly potent antiviral, antibacterial, very good for chest issues and for using it internally for chest issues. I absolutely love creosote. Creosote is something that we always are brewing at home, and it was time to get an early spring brew going. So approach the bush with intention and with love in your heart. Plants are energetic frequency beings, and so they can feel our energy as we approach them. I like to leave a piece of me with every plant that I harvest from. I usually spit onto the earth and allow the plant to absorb some of my genetic information as I remove some of their genetic information to create my medicine with. I introduce myself to the plant, and I let the plant know what I'm there for. I want the plant to know that I'm here to harvest their medicine for the community, for my family, or even for myself. When it comes to creosote bushes, I'm looking for bright green leaves that have a nice glow to them. That shiny glow on the top of creosote leaves are the actual essential oils, and that's where the big time potency of this plant is resting and is waiting for us. So we're looking for bright green leaves that have a nice shine to them. If the plant is already flowering, you want to try to find a plant that is not flowering, or pick the leaves that have not already flowered. When the plant is flowering, the plant has already put the majority of its energy into the flowers and is not spending as much energy in nourishing the leaves. You can, of course, harvest creosote flowers, and they have their own healing potential and life force in them. But I'm normally going for the leaves and that essential oil resting on the outside of them. I usually move around one bush or in between a few bushes and pick a little bit from here and a little bit from there, never overgrazing on one side or on one bush, making sure that I spread my harvest around the plant or again to different plants. Once I'm done, I thank the plant. I might spit onto the earth again, and I move on, and I take these herbs home to dry. All right, so there are small buds on the creosote. This is a perfect time to harvest. Those buds have extra flower power, getting ready to produce seed for the plant. So that's great to capture. A friend came up and decided to pull some creosote off the bush, and I had to take the opportunity to school him a bit on how we actually handle plants and wild harvest. This is my friend Elijah. All right, Elijah, can I teach you how to harvest from a wild plant friend? Or can I talk to you about how to do it in a way that's really respectful for the plant? All right, so one of the first things we want to do is come up to the plant, and we want to tell the plant that we're going to actually harvest from it, because this is their body, right? So imagine if someone just came and picked your hair off of you and didn't even tell you they were going to do it. It would probably be annoying. So you come up to the plant and you say, hey plant, I'm going to harvest some of your body to make medicine or to eat or to make a house with or something. You let the plant know that. So either in your mind you say it without out loud, or out loud say, hey plant, I'm going to harvest some of your body, or even just for the smell. And then what I like to do is leave a part of me with the plant. So I'm going to be taking a part of the plant with me. So I want to leave a part of me with the plant. So what I usually do, and this is kind of cool for boys, is I spit onto the dirt that the plant is growing in. Because that's me, right? That came from my body, that has my genetics. So I'll spit on the plant, on the ground, and leave my spit with the earth, and then I'm able to harvest from the plant.
What's your favorite hormone?
What do you think about that? So ask the plant first, is it okay that I harvest? And listen for the okay, because plants want to share what they have, so they almost always say okay. And then harvest what you need only, and then leave a part of you. What do you think? It's all good. But you heard me though, right? He got it.
Yeah.
After harvesting, we walked further down the river and found a little bank that we hung out on. There was a gentleman paddleboarding down the river with his dog that had terminal cancer. The children played in the water. My friend here caught a pregnant little fish of some sort. It is Pisces season, so it makes sense that the fish had the energy here. At the river, we watched the sunset as we walked out. It was really a beautiful day. I'm really happy that Delmar is back in town for a few months. I haven't had an unschooling mom with me in town for a while, so our weekly or bi-weekly field trips have been awesome. Really recommend checking out the Salt River if you ever visit Phoenix. Let's take this creosote back to the shop and make some medicine. All right, so it's a great idea to sage out your space before you make your plant medicine. I like to use Palo Santo or any type of sage, desert sage, white sage, to clear the space, clear the energy of any, other happenings and memories that were lasting there before you were making your tincture. I do use a very small amount of the plant and am able to get a pretty good burn with just one leaf or two. Create a nice, majestic and cleansed space so that the medicine is carrying the current intention that you have while making or for making your medicine. The ingredients are simple. We're using an unfiltered extra virgin olive oil, a clear glass, and creosote. We're making a creosote infusion in olive oil, and we'll use the strainer to strain the tincture later. Got to make sure we got our music going. Fela Kuti, Yellow Fever in the background. I have to have my vibes right. The first thing that we need to do is actually de-stem the creosote. We need to take all the leaves off of the big stems. I'm not meticulous about this. I don't make sure that every single small stem is removed, but most of the big stems get taken off and the leaves and the smaller, lighter, greener stems get added into the clear jar. Got to keep the groove moving, though I definitely recommend putting music on while you're making your plant medicine. The energy that you're feeling when you're making your plant medicine is going to be in the medicine. Leaves off, sticks cleared, compost those. If you have a compost, at least throw them back to the earth. Now we're gonna go ahead and take our olive oil and pour it over the creosote. This is really where the magic is going to happen. The oils in the creosote will slowly be released from the plant and infuse into the olive oil. Since this plant is about 3 days old or 3 days dried, there is still some moisture in the plant. So I have to make sure that I cover this plant fully with oil and keep all of the plant matter covered with oil the entire time. If there is any moist plant matter that is out in the air, mold will grow and your tincture will be ruined. So you have to make sure that all fresh plant matter or all plant matter that has any water left in it is fully covered. All right, here we go. This is the finished tincture. I'm gonna let this rest for about anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. This is the completed infusion. Now the hard part is just having to wait. Next, I'm going to label the jar, the date, and the name of the tincture. I like to reuse jars when making plant medicine, especially simple infusions like this, because the outside of the jar sometimes is sticky from the previous label. I leave some of that sticky material on and actually use that to restick the new label on. It's sticky just enough. If you use light paper, you can put it right onto the front and, double recycling. I love reusing glass jars, and this is even better because you don't have to do that extra level of extra cleaning to get all the sticky stuff off. Okay, like I said before, creosote is a medicinal plant of the Sonoran Desert, very well studied and used for many, many years, centuries long in this part of the world. It is also known as chaparral and is said to be stable. The dry plant is said to be stable for up to 2 years. I highly recommend checking out this book, Medicinal Plants by Michael Moore. All right, so I want to show you guys really quick how you actually strain a tincture. We're not going to strain the creosote tincture for a few weeks out, and I will bring that back on and strain it with you all and show you what I'll do with that. But this is a motherwort tincture that I made in alcohol about 3 months ago, and I'm straining this out on camera just so you all can see how I use the strainer and how I get the plant matter out of the medicine and be able to actually use the medicine without the plant matter still there. Straining it all out, making sure I get all of the liquid out. The liquid actually at the bottom of the plants tend to be the most concentrated, so take your time and get it all out. There we go, that's motherwort. Now it's time to make a label for that as well. With this label, I'm going to do another trick. So this is going to keep us from having too much sticky stuff on the next glass. I'm going to write the label, but take off the label with the paper on the back and only stick about half of the sticky label onto the glass jar, leaving the paper backing on the majority of the label. That will keep this particular jar from getting too much sticky stuff on, which honestly, I really hate having to do that deep clean and get that sticky stuff off. It sucks. It's going to go into the cabinet where all of my medicine is either brewing or resting for me to use, and we will dig into these cabinets more together on the show. Thanks for hanging. Tune in next Monday. New episodes are downloading every Monday. I can't wait to share all of my love of plants. Until then, y'all, peace.